Hey guys, it's the Sadknight here, and we're back with another episode of The Legend of Vox Machina, the animated series about Critical Role, and today we're doing episodes 1 through 12, All Ability Breakdown. If you haven't watched these episodes, spoiler warning, go watch them first and then come back here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and please enjoy. Also, rule of thumb, these characters are going to be classified as level 11, the reason being is episode 3, The Feast, in the animated series, and episode 18, The Feast, in the original stream, are comparable episodes. They are the start of the Briarwood arc, and the characters were level 11 in the original stream. Also, all abilities that they use during this time do not surpass level 11. Brimscythe, classified under the Critical Role wiki as a young/adult blue dragon, showed off several of his abilities over the course of this series. First off, we have the breath weapon, which is of course lightning based as he is a lightning dragon. Next we have an example of damage immunity, where Keyleth casts Call Lightning and strikes him with lightning damage. However, of course, because he's a blue dragon, he is immune to lightning. Next we have a possible example of a layer action. Some legendary monsters can use their environments to their advantage, known as a layer action. In this case, we can see that the gold conducts electricity, and anyone touching the gold can be shocked by it whenever Brimscythe makes an attack. Next, we have an example of changed shape, where dragons can disguise themselves as humans, and in this scene we can see him reverting from his human form back into his original dragon form. Now, this ability is common to ancient metallic dragons, and he is an adult chromatic dragon. However, DMs have priority over changing abilities of certain characters, and Matt Mercer wanted to have the subtle surprise of finding out that these are dragons hidden in human form. Next, we have an example of Frightful Presence, an ability that dragons have where they can intimidate those around them, making them afraid to interact with them in combat. As we can see here with Keyleth, who is too afraid to make a decision. The challenge rating 5 monster known as a Wraith used 2 abilities in this season that we saw. The first one being the Life Drain ability, where it deals necrotic damage to the enemy and they must make a Constitution saving throw, otherwise their maximum HP is reduced, which we can see as this woman's life is being drained from her body. The next ability we see the Wraith possibly use is the Incorporeal Movement. As we can see them pass through walls, objects pass through them, and when they are attacked, the attacks go right through them. Also, when a Wraith passes through a person with this ability, it can cause them damage, as you can see with Grog right here. The Kickstarter NPC known as the Tavern Keeper is a changeling, and in this moment we get to see an example of his shape changer ability as he turns from a regular person into a Minotaur. Silas Briarwood is based off of the challenge rating 13 monster known as a Vampire, and uses 2 vampiric abilities over the course of this season. The first one being his regeneration ability, where we see him healing from a wound caused by Percy. The next ability we see Silas use is the charm ability. In this moment, he makes Vax trust him so much he's willing to let him bite him. However, after Vax takes damage, he gets to make his wisdom saving throw again and succeeds, breaking free of the charm effect. The sentient item known as Craven Edge used at least 2 of its abilities throughout this season. The first ability we see is called Devour the Weak, where when it damages a living creature, that creature must make a Constitution saving throw, and if it fails, a point of its strength is absorbed and transferred to the wielder. The next ability we see is called Gluttonous Evolution, where when Craven Edge absorbs enough strength from an enemy, it actually grows in size. This usually only happens when it reaches its maximum number, but here we see it grow in size every time it absorbs strength from an enemy. Keyleth of the Ashari, level 11 Druid, subclass Circle of the Moon, used her ability known as Wild Shape throughout the season to turn into 4 different animals. The first one we can see is the Hawk, the second one being a Squirrel, the third one being a Jackalope, and the fourth one being her iconic tiger known as Minxie. Pike Trickfoot, level 11 Cleric, subclass War Domain, used 2 of her channel divinities over the course of this series. The first possible example of channel divinity we see is War God's Blessing, where Pike is channeling energy into Vex's arrow to increase her chances of hitting Brimscythe. The next channel divinity we see is Destroy Undead, where Pike massacres a bunch of zombies at the end of the season. Grog Strongjaw, level 11 Barbarian, subclass Path of the Berserker. The first ability we see is the Intimidating Presence. This is a subclass feature you get at level 10 that makes it where you can have an enemy make a wisdom saving throw or become frightened from you. Next we see Grog's iconic Rage, and even his iconic I would like to rage line that Travis always said in the streams. He does the rage multiple times throughout the series. In this moment right here we see Grog make 3 attacks attacking 3 different guards. Barbarians have extra attack at level 5, but with the Frenzy Rage ability, they actually can use their bonus action to make an additional attack for a total of 3 attacks, which is probably what happened in this moment. Next we see a possible example of the Brutal Critical ability that's obtained at level 9 for Barbarians, that allows them to apply additional damage when they perform a critical. This does seem like a critical moment in this attack, so it might be this ability. Baxeldan is a level 11 Rogue, subclass Assassin. The first ability we get to see him use is the Evasion ability, where when he makes a dexterity saving throw and succeeds, he can take no damage from the falling rocks falling on his head. However, in this moment we also get to see a giant boulder about to crush him in the shape of a d20. This could be a representation of his feat Lucky, which means he can re-roll his d20s to change the results of some outcomes. This includes this moment where the boulder may crush him, but instead, Scanlan's hand breaks through it, saving the day. Next, we get an example of his sneak attack, where when he has advantage on the attack while an enemy is unaware, while fighting other enemies, for example, like right now, he gets to add additional dice to his damage roll, and in this moment it also looks like it's possibly a critical, as he slits open the throat of Brimside. In this moment, we get the iconic dagger, dagger, dagger from Vex, where he gets to make 3 dagger attacks in a row. The ability to do this is based off of his regular attack for being a rogue, his bonus action for having the feat Dual Wielder, and for activating his Boots of Haste to give him a hasted action. Also in this scene, it's hard to see because of a still frame, but in the actual scene you can see 2 of the daggers succeed on the hit and the 3rd one fails. Vex'ahlia is a level 11 ranger, subclass Beastmaster, and we get to see a couple of her abilities in the season, including the first one being an example of the extra attack action, where she can make 2 attacks by shooting 2 arrows at the same time. She also does a quick draw variant of this, where she just attacks multiple times in succession. We also get to see an example of her animal companion Trinket. And finally, we get to see an example of her Primeval Awareness, where at level 3, rangers can spend a spell slot to detect certain types of enemies. Her favorite enemy is Dragon, and it lets her detect it up to 1 mile or 6 miles if she's in her favorite terrain. Percival Frederickstein von Musil Kowalski de Rollo III is a level 11 fighter, subclass Gunslinger. We see many of Percy's gunslinging features over the course of this series, including the Reload the Gun feature, and even his Misfire feature, which happens if he rolls too low of a number. The other abilities that Percy used in the series for sure is his attack features. He shoots his gun in multiple different scenes multiple amounts of times. However, whenever he makes 3 attacks, this would be representative of his triple attack. At level 11, fighters can make 3 attacks in a row. And there is even a scene where he uses 6 shots all in one go, which could be a representation of his action surge, which allows him to repeat his attack action again, making a total of 6 shots. During the Critical Role watch party, they did make a mention about how they tried to keep track of his bullets and make sure that he wasn't using an infinite loaded gun, except for with the exception of when Orthex took control of him and made it where it was possible for him to have infinite bullets. The only other abilities that Percy might have displayed over the course of this series that I wasn't sure about or not was his Abominable ability and of course his Second Wind. They're kind of subtle in the moments to possibly be happening, and so I couldn't find any instances of them. But if you guys could find any examples of these moments, please let me know in the comment section. Hey guys, it's the Sadknight again, and I just wanted to thank you guys for watching the video. Also, if you guys have a difference of opinion or even found things that I might have been missing, please let me know in the comment section below. As of course, these are just my opinions, and only a handful of them have been confirmed during the watch parties, so all the rest is just up for speculation. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day.